Breaking news at this hour that we're following. Arvada police are investigating a shooting at a Big O Tires on West 52nd Avenue. That's just east of Wadsworth. Arvada police say that one person was injured and taken to the hospital. They say that the suspect's identity is known and they're working to locate that person. We're working to learn more, and we'll bring you updates as we get them.
And here at 4 o'clock on your Thursday, that means, well, we're about 2 hours away from kickoff for the Broncos and Chargers. And there you see Bo Nix live getting ready for a big game. Broncos and Chargers at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. We're going to have team coverage for you for the next couple hours to get you ready for kickoff. Our Broncos insider Mike Kliss is going to join us in a few minutes with Scotty Gaines with all the latest as the team gets ready.
We're everywhere this afternoon. Here's a live look at Washington as the possibility of a government shutdown is getting closer. House Republicans have released yet another spending bill just hours after President-elect Trump shot down the bipartisan bill agreed to yesterday. And while this new bill is endorsed by the president-elect, it's going to face serious opposition from Democrats. Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries calls this new plan laughable. Funding for the government runs out at midnight tomorrow. In a shutdown, paychecks for many federal workers and military members would halt, along with some government services. Well,
Colorado Congressman Joe Neguse told us today he's worried about the potential widespread impact here in our state.
Unfortunately, politics on the Republican side of the aisle got in the way, but we're going to have to find a way forward, and I'm committed to doing that. I am deeply concerned, very concerned. Concerned on behalf of the Coloradans that I represent, concerned, on behalf of the many folks who are part of the federal workforce in our state, our federal labs and military.
Talking about how busy things can be at the airport this time of year, one major impact we could see in Denver is with Transportation Security Administration. Many TSA workers failed to show up to work during the shutdown of 2019 due to a lack of pay. Congressman Neguse has introduced a bike safety bill as well. This is in honor of a teenager who was killed in Boulder in July of 2023.
Team USA cyclist Magnus White was training along Highway 119 when he was hit and killed by a driver. Since then, his family has started a foundation hoping to bring awareness to cyclist safety nationwide. 9 News reporter Jaleesa Rosari shares with us their latest effort.
Some people are just born knowing exactly what they want in life. At an early age, Magnus White knew his purpose.
He loved his bike, and that's really where he felt safe.
He wrote his own legacy. We're carrying it forward for him.
For Jill and Michael White, their son Magnus was far more than a Team USA cyclist. He was training along Highway 119 when he was hit and killed by a driver. Nearly a year and a half later, he is a catalyst for change.
I miss my son so much. And then to see his name like this on a bill, it fills me with hope, but also despair.
This month, Congressman Joe Neguse introduced the Magnus White Cyclist Safety Act of 2024. It's an expansion to a rule by the feds that will require automatic emergency braking in every single car by 2029. This new bill will demand that braking system detect cyclists and other road users, regardless of factors such as skin tone, clothing color, or protective gear.
Going back to Magnus, the driver never stopped. Had her car be equipped with this technology, he could still be alive right now.
Congressman Neguse also believes it will save lives.
Yeah, well, it's crucial, and it's why we're going to work hard each and every day to try to get it done.
How confident are you that this will pass?
Hope springs eternal. We'll just keep pushing, and I'm hopeful that we can find a way forward.
There is zero reason why this should not be a rule.
Michael and Jill are hopeful Magnus's bill will become law, and they vow to make his drive, his purpose, his legacy.
He loved to lead, so we want to lead too, and we want to really, lead the country in keeping people safe on the roads.
Magnus's parents say they are looking to make changes on the state level as well. They're hoping to address accountability. Congressman Neguse says he's in talks right now with some of his colleagues to get a few co-sponsors for this bill. He hopes to get this passed next session. Jaleesa Rosari, 9 News.
Well, we have a lot to talk about that here in Colorado, and I also so admire people in the worst possible circumstances to have the bravery to make a change.
Congressman Neguse said the same exact thing. He admired their strength through all of this, right? It was such a tragedy they're going through, but you know what? They're using that pain, for power.
Absolutely. People are going to appreciate it and be grateful. All right. Thank you, Jaleesa. No arrest yet for the murder of a man who was killed in his doorway in Westminster last night. Police are now asking people to check their surveillance video for a shooter. Officers found the victim dead with a gunshot wound about 8:30 last night at an apartment on Orchard Parkway near the Orchard Town Center shopping mall. Police say the shooter ran away after the killing, and they searched the area, but they couldn't find him. The department hopes someone caught him on their surveillance video. If you can help, call Westminster Police.
Take a live look in the Golden area now, where things are calming down as far as the winds. Of course, they had no choice. They couldn't go up.
No.
Yesterday, this area in Boulder absolutely howling. Some places saw gusts above 100 miles an hour. Sadly, Corey Reppenhagen's with us instead of out there with his scarf.
First thing I thought of, that scarf that tells us how fast it's blowing, Corey.
Missed opportunity. That's what happens when the homeboy's hanging out in the studio, misses some of those winds. But man, it was rocking. The day was fairly decent looking, but those winds certainly in the morning cut into that. Here's what's going on. We have this really big area of low pressure out here in the Great Lakes, and we have high pressure building right behind us, and we're kind of caught right there in the pressure gradient in the middle, and that's what was got those winds really rocking for us. It'll calm down here for us here on the Front Range, but up in the mountains and Front Range foothills probably still going. Here's the top gusts here up in 4 Mile Canyon, 102 mile per hour gusts that you mentioned there in Jefferson County, 97. All these gusts were in the foothills, with the exception of this one in Owl Canyon, 83 miles per hour, and the one in Livermore, up in Larimer County. Those winds made it down, but everybody had the 30 to 50 mile per hour gusts. Here's the headlines we're tracking. So the top headline here is the diminishing winds here on the Front Range. A warm and dry weekend that'll carry into Christmas Eve-ish. We have a storm coming on the way here. Looks like the mountains are going to get some snowfall on Christmas morning. I'll talk about the chances for us down here coming up in the forecast.
The Broncos are back in prime time tonight. They're in sunny LA, La La Land, to take on the Chargers.
Indoors.
Indoors. But they've been outdoors, maybe, you think, getting there.
Sunny for the people driving to the game today. Of course, this is a big game, a chance for the Broncos to lock up that spot in the postseason. Of course, we have team coverage for you tonight. We start with our Broncos insider, Mike Kliss and Scotty Gaines. They're live at SoFi in Los Angeles. Fellas?
Yeah, you know, it's kind of a hybrid thing, right? They've got some open windows, I think. So it's indoor-outdoor kind of vibe, but regardless of where they're playing.
This is my favorite stadium of all of them. I like this better in Vegas. Like it better in Jerry's World. Those are kind of the competition. We'll see what Greg Penner comes up with in a few years.
Kind of gives me a headache. Anyway, something that has really relieved a lot of headache pain and heartache for the Broncos is Bo Nix. You can see him actually working out behind us right over there. He's just about to start his juggling routine. It's actually thrilling to watch. Maybe we'll get it live on air. But, Mike, if the Broncos want to win today, Bo's got to play a little better than we've seen him play these last few weeks.
Yeah, it's been turnovers and interceptions. He's had 5 in the last 2 games when he had 2 picks in his previous 10. And that's the type of Bo that you want. He doesn't have to do, I think he's trying to do too much. He had a lot of success. He had a lot of downfield success. And I think, you know, he got a little brazen with some of his throws. And he has to be a little more cautious here. And mistake-free is what he really has to do. Manage the game, keep it close, and then win it at the end.
Not try to do too much, right? We'll see if the Broncos and Bo can do that. It really is an exciting night, Tom and Kim. They're 9-5. They're 1 victory away from making the playoffs for the first time since the 2015 Super Bowl 50 championship. So here we go. Maybe it'll fit perfectly that it's here in the City of Stars on national television, too.
Oh, what a pre-Christmas gift.
Yeah, there's a lot at stake
City's
tonight.
going to go crazy.
Nice to have big games this time of year. We'll visit with you guys at SoFi Stadium a little bit later this hour. Thanks. Of course, Shedeur Sanders will be joining the Broncos in the pros next year. Probably not for the Broncos, but playing against them. So the Buffs need another quarterback next year. Today it became official. The Buffs getting ex-Liberty quarterback Caden Salter via the transfer portal. He's coming off a couple of great seasons while throwing for 1,800 yards and 15 touchdowns last year. The Flames won 8-3 the year before. He had a great year. Salter's expected to compete for next season's starting position behind center with 5-star high school recruit Julian Juju Lewis.
That's good, right?
I think,
I always worry because both of them are going to want to be the starters.
well, I think they will compete, but I would think that Caden Salter, with some time already,
he's got more
a
experience.
couple years of college football, is probably going to be your opening day starter if healthy, and Juju will get a chance to watch, learn, and get ready for when his time comes, which may be right away, who knows? But
And that's usually ideal, have the seasoned guy.
it
and
seems
then-
like in this case they've got a plan.
They do have a plan.
It looks that
Plans
way.
are good. Every now and then we like a plan.